Hi, I'm Dean Sage.
And I'm Jack Curvin.
And this is Show Me Your Deck,
a podcast where we explore the intersections of oracles and chakras,
using our original decks to create new insights. All right, our second official recording, possibly our second episode.
Oh my God.
We might throw all of these away in the future.
But we might not.
But we might not, yeah. So let's get started. Do you want to roll dice? You're a little
Sure.
Little dice.
So why don't we figure out which of my four decks we're going to use? I have a tetrahedron right here. Let me roll it and see what we shall see. Deck number 2, and that is going to be the Professions of Joy. And for the first card in my deck, we're going to use number 32.
Okay. And just if you're not aware, because it's only our second episode, Jack has 4 decks. Each of them is based on the intersections of the chakras. And so 1 through 7 is the root chakra meeting each of the chakras, and then it continues on in cycles of 7 up till you get to 49, which is 7 times 7.
Yep, and here we go. This one is the intersection of air with earth. So this is, I profess that I say kind words to and about other people.
Ooh, okay. So we're going to be talking about kind words. We're going to be talking about professing kindness. And this with air, is this the throat chakra for you?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, and earth will be the root chakra.
All right. So this really is about voicing something. It's not just, expressing it through other ways, but really giving it voice.
Yes, and keeping in mind that what you say affects the way people exist within their bodies and minds. The ways in which words become reality. Okay.
All right. So I'm starting to hear that because it's touching root. These are foundational words, I think, is what we're going to be exploring today. Like, do you ever get into narrative therapy? You ever heard of that?
Yes, I've heard of it.
So if you're not aware, narrative therapy is where you take a situation, some sort of trauma or past experience that you've had, and you re-narrate it. So rather than you being the one who the actions were done to, you become the narrator, and you basically get to retell your story. It's a powerful tool because it gets down to core metaphors, root metaphors. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about today, is giving voice to root metaphors. I'm kind of feeling like this is an external proposition, though, today. I think maybe we're speaking root metaphors to others, to someone else. Is that kind of where you're feeling?
I think that whether it's internal or external, whatever we come up with is going to be helpful to other people. So however it wants to flow, let's just go with it.
Okay. So I'm thinking, let's go ahead and have you roll the dice again. Let's get another deck in here.
A different deck?
Yeah, let's get a different deck in here.
Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Where's my tetrahedron? Come here, tetrahedron. Come here, tetrahedron.
I just like the word tetrahedron.
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 So, deck number 1 is the projections. And the card for that deck will be number 15.
So we're into the third cycle.
Yes, and actually it's the very beginning of the third cycle. This would be fire. Actually, is that correct? Yes, that would be fire on fire itself. So this is the beginning of the third cycle.
Fire on fire, okay.
Yeah, so action, lots of action. I do. All right, the projection for this is potluck your gratitude, giving versus sacrificing, receiving versus taking, abundance versus scarcity.
So I really am getting an externalized version of this. So we have kind of speaking root metaphor, speaking root truth to other people. And read yours again. It was potluck.
Potluck your gratitude.
Potluck your gratitude.
Potluck your gratitude.
I like
so you
that.
bring something to be gratitude. You bring something to be grateful for. I'll bring something to be grateful for. We'll share it. We'll work on it. We'll act on it.
Yeah.
We'll embody it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of definitely getting a shared experience. So actually, this might be two of you. This might be two of you getting together, or maybe a small community getting together.
It's a potluck. Everybody brings a little bit of gratitude.
Yeah. So this is you and someone in your sphere, some people in your sphere. It's probably something warm and inviting because potluck, you don't really have potluck with people you don't know usually. You can, but
potlucks tend to be joyful gatherings as well.
Community, family, friends, something that supports you, something that really gets to you,
nourishes you.
Yes, that's a good word. I like that, nourish. And in that setting, you need to be thinking about what root truth can you bring. Maybe it's sharing your own so that others can experience it. Like I kind of get the sense of like an AA meeting almost, but like for gratitude. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hi, I'm Dean and I'm in need of gratitude and nourishing of my soul. Right. I'm a soulless monster, I too have become impoverished of gratitude. So no, I'm kind of getting a sense of coming together, but speaking something deep, something true, or maybe helping others nourish or see the spark within them, helping to kind of bring that out.
Yes, and to then think about how to translate that into action in your life. Once you have these affirmations or new ideas or compliments or truths, how do they affect the choices that you make going forward?
I think that's key because we did pull fire. We did pull the solar plexus.
Fire. This card is fire on fire.
So we do have the need of action. So our central focus is on putting these deep thoughts, these deep roots, these core images into an actionable standpoint. So I think we'll draw two of mine because my cards are very action. They're sassy. I call them sassy because like every time I pull one, it's got something to say. I think out of all the chakras that the deck itself represents, it's definitely the voice chakra, the throat chakra. It likes to be heard. Let's just leave it at that. It likes to be heard. So let's see.
She got something to say.
When I pull my cards, I like to just sort of scan through them with my fingers, and when I get to one that I think it wants to be heard, I'll kind of pull it out. It's like a little buzzing in my head, like almost like a tipsy feeling. I just kind of feel it out that way. For a deck that likes to talk so much, she's not being all that talkative today.
Well, that's because she doesn't perform.
I've put her on the spot. No. Okay. So you got something there. Okay. All right. So I got two of mine. So we have action meets action, fire meets fire. And that chakra actually in your system and my system, both of those fires are in the same chakra. So that's nice in alignment.
Okay. Nice.
I call them flames in my deck. They correspond with the suit of wands in the tarot. So let's see. So we've got core truths that we're speaking to others, but we want to bring this to action. So it's a potluck of gratitude, but the point of the potluck, and I kind of go back to the AA meeting just because the point of the meeting is to produce action in yourself, right? To produce a better behavior, a better way of thinking about the world. So let's see what we got here. Oh, would you believe it or not? We have the suit of flames. I can't imagine why.
We got a lot to do today.
We have the seven of flames, and you're going to love this one. Okay. So it corresponds to the seven of wands. Let the flames of challenge raise you up.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Your deck, she slid in here quietly, but she said what she had to say.
She did.
She has her little say.
Yes.
Okay. Read that one again. Let
the flames of challenge raise you up. So in the tarot,
and we're here to help you, honey. Potluck. We're here to speak you into success.
Yeah.
Take these actions,
even
when they're difficult.
Well, especially when they're difficult. Yeah, in the tarot, this is about challenges that you face internally and externally, usually with other people. And so the way that I like to kind of interpret this card is that when you're out of balance, you're competing with everyone, trying to win the day, win the contest, win the email chain, whatever that is, you're trying to win. And what I think the balanced point of view for this card is allowing the flames of others, so like that hot, fiery feeling, that action of others, lift you up. My favorite deck of cards, the Light Seer Tarot, has a woman in a bubble of air being raised up by literally the heat of the other people's wands, and it's causing her to float above. I just love that image. I think it's a beautiful image.
All of it coming back to this potluck, doing it with your fan base, do it with your cheerleaders, do it with your people.
Well, it's funny because the Six of Wands is all about being the star, the center of the attention, and then you come up with the Seven, and sevens are usually some sort of conflict. But I think it's exactly the opposite. Exactly what you just said. You've had your moment of stardom. You're in front of your fans now. Let their heat, even if it's uncomfortable, give you lift, give you air to rise up on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So there's potluck of gratitude. We've got the flames of challenge. So I go back to that initial image that we pulled. And I think you've got to speak something to someone, and then they've got to speak something to you.
Sharing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone can see into each other more deeply than people want to see into themselves. I think that your friends,
yes, I see that constantly. That it's interesting you bring that up, because two people can be having a very similar situation, and one asks for advice, the other one offers that advice, and then that second person will sometimes be like, "But that's what I was going to say to you." But you have to hear it from outside yourself. It's like the truth when you share it, but you forget it when it's for yourself.
Well, I think you just passed it around completely. You need to speak these truths to somebody, but they're probably truths that you need to hear.
Oh yeah.
And then the same vice versa. You need to hear some things, but what they say to you is probably something they also need to hear in themselves.
And something that I think is pretty similar for your deck as well. But with my decks, they're all reminders. All of this is reminders. So this sharing of reminders of positivity and offering suggestions and encouragement for making improvements. Yeah, we're vibing today.
Yeah, my deck is more like I call it an oracle, and it's a 1-for-1 to the tarot, so you can kind of use whatever interpretation system you like. But I think she definitely calls you out. I tried to make it so that it is very matter of fact. I actually made it for my partner because they didn't get the symbol imagery. They weren't really like vibing with like the imagery on the tarot, and so I was like, well, what if there was just something that kind of just gave you the interpretation right away, just smack in your face, and then allowed you to go back and put other things into it. So that's kind of where my deck comes in. So it's intended to be very forthright, so this is a day for her to shine, I think, is probably the best way to say so.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she will grab that information and bring it back up. So you've got some challenges to accept. This is a place where you got to come in love, but you got some hot words to say. Maybe you have a hot take or two that needs to come out. Sometimes with friends, it's hard to challenge each other. You kind of
at the same time, if you're coming from a place of love, that burn, it can be assuaged a little bit by the friendship. Sometimes you need to hear these burning truths.
It's true.
And I mean, there are times when it's appropriate to hear from somebody who can just, flame it out on you. And then there's times where you come together, you have some sharing, you have some caring, you have some talking, and you have some listening. Thank you.
Yes.
And, there's so much fire in this reading that perhaps tempers will come up. Perhaps some of these words will sting or burn a little bit.
I was going to say, be careful and don't misinterpret a situation that you're experiencing where it is not in love that it has been brought. So just because you find yourself, I would say, if you're listening to this reading, just because you find yourself in a situation where the hot words are being thrown, that doesn't mean that is this that we're talking about. You have to consider where you are. We started with a potluck of gratitude. This is a community of people that do love you and do care for you. So this is not your boss yelling at you. This is not a narcissistic mother criticizing you one more time. This is friendship, this is love, this is partnership, this is a community of connection coming together and supporting each other.
Excited for you. They are excited for you. They want you to do well, and you have to hear what they're saying to you. You got to listen.
You got to listen. All right, so we've got our deep truths that we're preparing, that we're bringing. We've got
sharing them in love. Sharing them in love.
Sharing those in love. I like that. We've got a potluck of gratitude. So you got to start this session by being grateful for each other, being grateful for connection, being grateful for the places that you guys have been together, and the moments that you've shared, because in the middle of all this, you got to get down to it. This can be a great time to just help kick people. Sometimes you just need a kick in the butt. You just need a boot
with love,
but you just need a boot. You're stuck. You're stuck, and when your cart's stuck in a rut, you can't keep going forward. You have to go sideways, and you got to put a lot of effort into getting out of that rut. So sometimes it takes others to kind of just give you that nice little nudge, get you off the well-trod path, and bring you somewhere different. So since she's so sassy, let's see what else she has to say.
She's saying it in love, but she's saying it in love.
Oh, she brings water next.
Oh, quench that.
Yes.
Okay, don't burn too much.
So this is the 8 of waves, the 8 of cups, if you're reading this in the tarot. Free yourself from the shallows, flow to the source.
When you hear these truths in love, you can flow to that truth. Perhaps what's holding you back is, perhaps it's excess cargo that has to be burned off, or a rope that needs to be singed. I mean, something needs to be burned away so you can flow away and float to this truth.
Well, that's exactly the out of balance for this card, is that you have the waters have come, they've washed things away, and you can either get hung up in the shallows where you can get kind of stuck and trapped and caught up, or you can flow backward with the wave to the source, the deep waters.
Which chakra is water for you in your system?
That is the sacral chakra.
Okay.
So second chakra.
Second chakra. Okay. So, flowing from this place of intuition and trust and emotion.
Very much. Yeah. This is a very emotional chakra for me in my system. This is talking about letting the sort of sizzle of the beach where things are, heavy and distracted, and there's lots of things going on, and you can kind of easily be lost in it. And the source is stillness, where emotions flow from, but where you're not controlled by them. So this is about coming into balance with freeing yourself from the sizzle of the moment and really kind of returning yourself to a more still place where you can experience the deep emotions.
Yeah. So coming back to our narrative today, we've brought this potluck of people together, and words have been said in love. Some of those words might burn a little bit, but you have this new information. You have to intuit and feel and emote towards this new place of stillness that you couldn't get to until your people helped burn away some of the crust that was blocking your vision. They bring that light, because fire is light. Yeah.
Yeah. It is the fire of the sun is the light that we all see by day and night.
the kind of peace you can find when people finally tell you what you need to hear.
So I think the end of this needs to return to deep emotional connection and stillness. So after everything's been spoken, you kind of need to sit in stillness and let your waters recede. So just like the tide comes in and goes out, that waves crash, there's been sizzle, but then what happens with the water? It recedes again. It gets pulled back towards it where it came from.
Can you read your card again?
Free yourself
it's eight
from
of
the
waves,
shallows.
Right?
It's 8 of waves. Yep. Free yourself from the shallows, flow to the source.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like the word shallows there. It has multiple entendres.
Mm-hmm. Very, shallow emotions.
Yep.
Shallow ideas.
Well, superficial priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Faked emotions, fake friendships.
Or just quick triggers. Quick responses. I think this session that you guys are going to set up with each other. This session, it's very easy to quickly fall back onto old habits, old pathways, to have kind of a knee-jerk reaction. And I think those are the shallows that you need to be aware of. And you need to allow yourself to recede to stillness so that you can really hear what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the interesting part of the chakra system. There's no ear chakra.
There's no what?
There's no ear chakra.
Ear chakra?
There's the throat chakra.
And third eye.
Yeah. So there's speaking and seeing, but there isn't really a hearing.
Hearing.
So I think hearing has to be
one.
Huh?
We might need to make one. What color should it be?
6.5. Chakra 6.5.
So, yes.
6.5.
6 3/4.
6 3/4.
And the color needs to be peach.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think with the throat chakra, I can hear a sage saying that its stillness is as important as its vibration. For this chakra to be unimpeded and flowing and in balance, it has to know when to stay silent and when to speak. And I think I think that's the key here is, careful that you're speaking what people are ready to hear. Go into this with love, but make sure that who you're dealing with is in a place to hear what you have to say. There may be many truths that you could speak, but what is the truth that they need to hear right now? So a warning.
Yeah. Because, going back to the first card, I profess that I say kind words to and about other people. The flip side of that is this gentle breeze that you're speaking and just moving some motes of dust around in the air, that can get flipped around really, really quick. Start choking on that, right?
So a warning that you need to, part of approaching others in love is understanding where they are. If someone's in deep tragedy or deep pain, they don't need all the truths of the universe at that moment.
No. And having the empathy, which flows from emotion, from this water that you mentioned in your system, you'll know, if you're paying attention, which truth is appropriate at the moment. So trust yourself.
Listen, trust yourself. Stillness. I think we need a capstone for this. We've had our warning. We've had our challenge, right? We've challenged each other. We've spoken these truths. We've had a warning, return to stillness. So what do we do in this final stillness of this gathering that we've kind of orchestrated here? We need another dice roll, another casting of the die.
Oh, well, I need my tetrahedron. I keep putting it away. Let me get back out. Oh, back to deck number 1. More professions.
I think that's important.
We're going to profess now. Let's profess something. Give us number 7. This is going to be a good one. This
Yeah.
is where root and crown touch. So here it is. I profess that I am a connection between heaven and earth. When Muladhara comes into contact with Sahasrara, when you've got earth being influenced by ether, akasha, however you want to deal with it, red, purple, if you want to think about it in terms of colors, I profess that I am a connection between heaven and earth. When you speak these kind words in love to someone, in attempt to help them enact change and to do better for themselves, you are in a way acting, I suppose, as a type of guardian angel. But here you are, right here in their presence, and you're trying to lift them up towards their better selves.
I like that. Also, I think it's a reminder too that the progression, depending on how you interact with chakras and what you believe, there is sort of a progression towards that, objective. People will say higher self, but I think I like the Zen Buddhist. It's others, it's our connection with others. That you are not you any longer. And so as you're doing all of these things, don't forget that the ultimate goal is to kind of rid yourself of the trap of being you, and that you are they and they are you. That there's something really to be said about you're speaking these words back onto yourself through others.
Mm-hmm. And given that this is a potluck, they're speaking this to you. They're lifting you up as well. All this is reciprocal. All of it's shared. So as much as sometimes we want to give, and we forget that we need to receive. Sometimes you need to
it's so
receive.
easy. It's so easy to think that you got to bring all the dishes yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to cook for everybody. It's okay to
cook
grab
for
a bite.
you.
Yep. Just don't ruin the potato salad. Whatever you do.
Oh God!
Please don't ruin the potato salad.
No. Do you put mayonnaise in yours?
I have not made potato salad, I think, from scratch ever. My parents had different recipes, and some of them were very good and some of them were very bad.
Okay, well, for this potluck, everybody take a vote. Some people want the Cool Whip, oh my God, they want the Miracle Whip. Some people want the Hellmann's.
Oh, and you're in the South too, so I know that's a real struggle.
That's a struggle.
We had Miracle Whip at Grandma's, and we had mayonnaise at home. And my mom lied to me for 7-8 years, because I would go to Grandma's house. And I would have myself a sandwich, and it would be the most delightful thing I've ever tasted in my life. Yeah. And I would come home, and sandwiches did not taste the same at home.
They weren't right.
And I tried to get her to tell me why.
She wouldn't say it.
It took me growing up and investigating and realizing that Miracle Whip was a thing that existed. My mom just said, "Oh no, we just need to get the right mayonnaise. We just need to get the right mayonnaise." She hated Miracle Whip. She hated it.
There's no right mayonnaise.
Yeah. So that was that's why sandwiches didn't taste the same at home.
No. So when you bring your potato salad to this potluck, maybe bring 2 versions of it.
And no raisins. Whatever you do.
No raisins people put raisins in the potato salad?
White people.
Where did you grow up?
You got to remember, I've got Midwest and I've got California.
They got mayonnaise as a seasoning.
Yes.
Raisin is a spice.
Yeah. No, it's a different world. The South is a different world when it comes to some of these things. Yeah, they put a lot of unnecessary stuff. My kinfolk put a lot of unnecessary things in potato salad sometimes. I
have to get away from the mic. Oh, unnecessary. This is unnecessary.
Those are my people. So thank you very much for listening. For premium subscribers, we're going to give you a little taste ahead here. We've got our personal reflections coming up. If you'd like to be a supporter of this podcast, we will have the ability for you to join a membership and get access to this nice little exclusive feature. So, all right. Well, we did our reading. We got our situation. What What do you think? Do you see something within your own personal sphere that this might apply to?
Yes, in fact, it's a good reminder to me that I need to be better about remaining connected to people. I have a tendency, as do most of the men in my family, as we age, we tend to, what's a good word?
Isolate?
Yeah, we become like hermits almost. You have to be very careful to resist that. And if you're thinking about all this in terms of it being a conversation, I get to do that practically daily with a couple of my clients. And that comes from a place of love. It does. It's a different kind of love than the conversations I might be having with friends and family. On the other hand, I work with my clients for so long that they end up feeling like family anyway. So on the one hand, I do get to have these conversations. A lot of times I feel that I am giving and not receiving enough, which we had just mentioned in the episode. I feel like I should be more mindful of receiving. And I should be doing it with the people who've known me my whole life. They'll have a different type of observation, a different type of context when they speak to me.
Just to clarify, since it's only our second episode, when you say clients, you're speaking of the people that you do training with,
Yes,
athletic training, weight training.
And wellness coaching. Yeah, I'm a fitness trainer and a wellness coach. And so some of my clients don't want to work out. They don't want to do exercise. They want to do exercise. So I do quite a lot of exercise with people, even while they're exercising, I suppose. But some of my clients really are focusing on the internal self more than the externally visible self.
So I hear you on the isolation piece, and I'm just curious, what you didn't say is a community of people that you could bring together for this potluck. Do you, like, I immediately flashed to your men's group when I thought of you thinking of this, and how I think you almost just did this and probably have to do it a few more times just to kind of make sure everybody's on board.
We have to do it repeatedly, and it's interesting you observed that I didn't think of them. And it means that the group is still so fresh that they are not part of my emotional habit, I suppose. Mm-hmm. When I think about the people who I'd want to bring together for this potluck, I didn't think to include them because I don't know them well enough yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
But these are people that I want to know. This particular men's group is going to be full of some really spectacular people, and I want to develop the habit of thinking to invite them to this potluck. And it's actually one of the reasons why I was excited about being involved with it, is the opportunity to have safe spaces with other men, because a lot of my experiences with men have not made me feel safe. And one of the reasons I wanted to be part of this group is to rewrite that narrative, to create new associations. Literally
new associations. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's interesting. I can't think of a community of bringing people together. I think, like you, I tend to isolate. I have you. I have our mutual friend Lisa. I have my partner, but I don't really engender myself to communities of people. I'll have like one or two good friends, and we moved about a year and a half ago, and we have not done a good job of making new friends. It's hard. It's very hard to make new friends.
Well, something that's important about today's reading then is the reminder to put yourself in a situation where you can have a community. And that can be difficult because a lot of people are difficult to know. Okay, let's just be honest there. It's difficult to be vulnerable with a community of people. My life experiences have taught me to be very, very cautious. And I think that I am overly cautious. I think that I will need these constant reminders that there are plenty of good spirits out there. And I don't have to be, protective against everybody. And I'm seeking that out.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. So I think as I kind of look at myself, it's probably a reminder to me to be sure that I am asking those that I am close to, like you, like Lisa, like my partner, to give me truths and to invite the sort of healthy feedback that, it will probably help me grow as a person. So I think that's probably where I would take this myself, is to kind of learn to invite feedback.
I don't know that we need to define it for each person, but when we say community, does that have a lower limit? I mean, some people are simply introverted or simply don't need or want as much community as other people.
No.
I personally max out at, if we're talking about a big group of people, I think I'm good for 10 or 12 at a time. And anything beyond that's just kind of overwhelming. And I probably prefer something more like 3 to 5.
I was just going to say 10 or 12 sounds absolutely mind-numbingly bad to me.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of people. No, 3 to 5 is great. 4 is a good number. No, I would say community starts at 3. I think that 2 is a partnership and 3 is a community. That's just how I've always thought of it.
So I suppose in looking retroactively at the reading, this potluck doesn't have to have lots of people. It has to have good people.
Good people, good food.
Good people, good food. No mayonnaise. No raisins in the potato salad. The people who come to this potluck need to know that you don't put raisins in potato salad. That is unnecessary.
Well, I think that's our personal take for the episode. So, Jack, where can people find you and your wonderful things?
Come find me on, what is that place called? Is it called Instagram? Yeah, Instagram.
It's still called Instagram, yeah, for now.
They're all changing their names anymore. So come find me on Instagram at 49haiku, 49haiku.
And it's also 49haiku.com.
Yes, 49haiku.com.
Okay, we can link there. I am Dean Sage Media, wherever you can find me. DeanSageMedia.com is going to be a good place to just get all of my information. And then, of course, showyourdeck.com. Showyourdeck.com is the website for this podcast. So you can get links to our episodes there, as well as we'll have recommendations for decks that we like, and you'll have the ability to purchase our own decks as well.
And we promise there will be no raisins or mayonnaise.
No raisins, no mayonnaise. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.